What's going on, everybody? Happy Black Media Appreciation Month to you. And I'm joined by our lovely sister, Nicole's View. Nicole, can you hear or can you hear me? Are we live?
Yes, yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
Welcome to my channel. Um, it's been a while since the last time you were here, and I've been doing things a little bit differently. As you can see, we have camera, we've got video. I need to get out of the video.
No.
Welcome. How you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm doing well. I'm hanging in there. Just trying to, stay on the right path and trying to be healthy and together and all that good stuff. But I thank you for inviting me on your platform. I think the last time we spoke was on Twitter Spaces. So
Definitely, definitely. Twitter Spaces has changed their their spaces. It's not even Twitter anymore. It's X. And every time I feel like
yes.
I when I say follow me on X, it sounds like drugs, and I don't even like to say it like.
Or like, I don't know, maybe like a porn site. I don't know.
Right.
It's
It
like
gets a
X,
little dark.
right? Yeah, I still say Twitter.
Absolutely. I definitely Twitter is gonna be Twitter until I guess until somebody else takes over. So
Yeah.
glad you tried. You tried. But no, I'm happy you're here, and
Thank
this
you.
is definitely a good time for it. You have a platform that I I've used as an example of sorts. This year for Black Media Appreciation Month, I thought it was very important for us to make sure that we hit all 9 areas of human activity, right? Like in the Black media, we've learned about Mr. Neely Fuller, and shout out to him. He's still alive and kicking and has his program on Tuesdays, and y'all should
Mhm.
check him out. Produce Justice. Um,
Yes.
if any of my mods are in the chat, and this is not me being funny, I'm being for real. If any of my mods are in the chat, please post Mr. Fuller's channel, Produce Justice, so people who aren't familiar can get familiar. But entertainment, I think that's a you area, and not like how people would think, right? Like you've got like an interest in entertainers, or at least making things right. And I really like that when it wasn't happening, you said, why not? And then jumped into it. So, Michael Jackson and Bill Cosby, two black men who've been super railroaded by their success and the system. Um, there's a black woman in real time who was like, nah. I mean, it
Yeah.
would be easier to just jump on the other side, right?
Right.
How
Right.
is that for you?
It's interesting. I know like you said, it may seem like that, but for me, aside from the celebrity factor, I saw something like you said going down. I saw railroading, especially, in regards to Cosby and Michael as well. But with Cosby, it was disturbing because when he was being railroaded, we had a whole Me Too movement going on. At least, thank God, with Michael, when he was alive and was being railroaded, he had the media railroading him, but there was no active movement, thank God. With Cosby, there was the media and this Me Too movement. And I think this Me Too movement, as we saw with today with Harvey Weinstein, folks took it literally. It became a witch hunt, and it wasn't based on facts. I mean, you have mass media, you have social media just coming together in this movement. There was no way Mr. Cosby was going to be able to escape that initially until we had to get folks, in the up and up, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court to say, whoa, wait a minute. We got to actually look at the facts here. And that is what caused me to be like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right. This seems like a mob witch hunt, and I didn't like it. It made me uncomfortable. And I said to myself, if I am the only one out here screaming this, then that will be it. But right is right and wrong is wrong.
right is right and wrong is wrong. Some of these things are super simple, and that's
Mhm.
why I like Mr. Fuller, because in real time when I've talked to him, and I haven't had all these conversations. I'm not about to cap on this app, but I have had a few conversations with him, and the conversations have always been like, Eve, you're overcomplicating this. Like, it's
Yeah.
not that complicated.
It's
Like,
not really. It's
slow
not.
down. And right. So then in real time, you get, well, super audio wrong. Anyway, in real time, I'm finding that when we slow down and we pay attention to what's being presented, it's not. It really is simple. For example, Harvey Weinstein. Like, people like to use him like, oh, the system didn't protect him. Look, y'all, in real time, here's the article that I saw a couple days ago. A New York appeals court has overturned his rape conviction, saying that there were improper rulings.
Yes.
And this Me
Yes.
Too movement that Nicole's just talking about, now he's not. It's the math ain't mathin', y'all. So Mr. Cosby is not getting the same types of treatment. And then when the system is found to be fucking with him, like they fuck with us, and then we get justice on accident, people want to
Mhm.
cry foul. It's like
Right.
OJ and,
Yes.
rest in wherever heaven or whatever is going on in the afterlife, OJ, because you did that, and they railroaded your ass. Like, how do you go to jail for stealing your own shit? Nicole, can you?
Right.
I didn't
Right.
even really expect to ask you this, but like,
Oh no, it's within that realm. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense. He was a black man. This is a man that had to work his way up, came out of it with money and all that. Ex-wife, who happens to be white, gets murdered, and her friend, and he becomes the number one focus, even though we know it doesn't make sense. The timeline doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. You have corruption, you have white supremacists like Mark Furman a part of this case, and you see this all go down. And he played by the rules. He had excellent attorneys represent him, like the late great Johnny Cochran.
right,
And still, at the end of the day, this system still said, no, we don't care what evidence you have. We don't care who was representing you. We don't care even if we have one of our own that was caught planting evidence. We said you did it. And that's what it's going to be till the end of time. This is what we're dealing with. Like you said, in regards to Mr. Neely Fuller, this is simple. This is
it is.
straight up white supremacy.
It
You know?
is. And what's simple to me is sisterhood.
Yes.
I think black women stick together in general, and not on some fuck shit like how people try to make you think. And
Mhm.
there are a lot of examples where you'll go online and you'll see people big upping something that doesn't need to get any attention. There's a lot more people listening to people like, I don't know, Sexy Red or Cardi B than I'm comfortable acknowledging, but I understand that there's a system at work right now. And
Yes.
some people don't have any focus, Nicole. Like, so for you to have the ability to sit there and say, damn, nobody is speaking the truth, or at
Right.
least what I think the truth is. And to me, as a black woman, the truth is this man is not being tried for the things that they're mad at him about, or
Right.
this man is being railroaded, and yeah, he's got money, but why isn't his money making other people speak up? Where's the
Mhm.
media? And you see the media is on that other side, that they've been bought, paid off, and he's guilty. And then it's very easy to ride that train, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But
Especially when you have
do that.
different agendas at play.
The agendas, absolutely. The black person is being attacked at all fronts, and
Yes.
at least, this year for New Black Media Appreciation Month or Black Media Appreciation Month, I think we should make sure we're paying attention to all areas of where we are. And then from there, now we have a media that makes sense. It's not just political. It's not just entertainment. It's, we've got education. Like
Right.
you trying to stay healthy. If you following her on Facebook, you see that she's doing the Zumba thing. I can't Zumba, y'all. It's a stereotype that Black people are all super coordinated because I am coordinated. I can't do that though. Like you get my
Yes, for me, I started taking my health more seriously around 2019. I looked in the mirror one day and I said, absolutely not. I am not liking what I'm seeing. I'm putting on the pounds all my life. I've been a stick figure. And of course, once you start having kids and all that good stuff, if you don't watch it, it'll sneak up on you. And so I got serious about it. I love dancing, especially Zumba. So I found a lady who was phenomenal. I mean, there's different sorts of Zumba instructors. You have your, let's just dance. And then you have your athletic. And she was an athletic, high stamina. It's still to this day. And I went to her and I saw the weight flying off. And I just kept at it. I kept at it. It's great cardio. And then I started to incorporate other things like, other gym classes. I started doing like lifting weights and cardio, Thai boxing. And another thing I started the last year is extreme hip hop step. And that right there is, you want to talk about coordination. That is coordination. At least with Zumba, you can get away with kind of doing your own thing. But with step, the steps are, you have to be coordinated doing it the right way, or you can hurt yourself, but I love it. I love a good challenge. So
I like that. See, and
yeah.
this is the sisterhood I'm talking about, because in real time, I've watched your videos and I've said I can't, but listening to what you just said, I do. I've been on this new journey, calisthenics, and like my own body weight and what can I do with my body weight, not how much weight can I lift, because I found that I can lift a lot of weight, but then I don't want to be like stiff and can't like move, I can pick things up and put things. No, I don't want to be like that.
Absolutely. We can do anything we put our minds to, that's me. I try to be disciplined. I have my moments where I slip, but I want to stay disciplined and focus on my health because, in our community, as we say, they say Black women, we're one of the groups that are overweight. Unfortunately,
And
that's not all of us, but it is true.
right.
We have to take that seriously, and we can't, once again, fall under these agendas that, it's okay to be obese. No, it's not. It's not healthy. It's not good for your body. It's not good for your bones. We cannot walk around with tons and tons of weight. I lost a great friend in high school, 37 years old, diabetes.
37.
37, left 2 kids behind. And this is another reason why I take it so seriously. It's not a joke. It's not a game. We have to take our health seriously. I don't want to be on a bunch of medications trying to just live. It's not living. That's not living. Yes.
Oh my God.
37 years old.
That's I'll be 37 this year. And
Wow.
Whoa.
Two
children, too many. Man, in real time, people have asked me, they say, Eve, how do you keep the weight off? How do you look like that after having 5? And I say that I play with them, because I do play with them, but I want to play with them because I used to smoke cigarettes, and that's not anything that I'm proud of or whatever. It's not anything that I've ever really boasted about, as much as it's something that I did, but I couldn't breathe. Like, I wanted to play, I couldn't breathe. So it's like, wait a minute.
That's scary. That's
like,
scary.
Hold up.
Yes.
So, while I have the energy too, I'm about to die. Like, we just outside running around, and some things have to be different. We have to operate different if we're saying that this is what we want. And I I very much want the Black family to be successful. I think
Yes.
that happens when Black people step outside of their comfort zone and say that they need help, because we're not cavemen. We're a social people. It
Yes.
takes a
Absolutely.
village. So but then, who's your village? Who do they consist of, or where are they? And right now we got the internet that connects people in a very real way,
Hmm.
very closely. Like, you're in my living room right now. All y'all are in my living room right now.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
So
It's always great when you have that, you know, folks who kind of have your same beliefs, and you all can kind of just vibe off of each other. You can give each other advice. Maybe there's something you may know that I don't know, and vice versa. It's a great way, especially in this topic, there has to be some sort of, now, and I've talked about this before on my channel, some sort of going back to the roots, because what we've seen over the last, I would say, 20 years has been very sad. Just the the many agendas and things that is put on us, that is now considered the norm, that we would have never thought would be happening in the 90s. Heck, um and it's sad to
yeah,
see how some of our women are being projected in media, just in everyday life.
no, yeah, I've seen on Twitter, because we're gonna call it
Mhm.
Twitter. I've seen on Twitter, you have conversations with people that you're not trying to tell them how to be. You're just making commentary on what was presented. And then in real time, your common sense gets swatted at by people who are not making sense, right? And then it's like, whoa, wait, did I do something wrong? Like,
Right.
but no, my view isn't wrong as much as these people are dysfunctional. And then it's like, then people say, "Oh, Black women are dysfunctional," and it's like, no, no. Okay, well, maybe some Black women are dysfunctional, but our sisterhood is not dysfunctional, because some of y'all asses wouldn't be here if your mamas didn't have sisters and moms and women who stepped up to do what needed to be done. So how can you say dysfunctional if you're here and
Mhm.
you can do something about whatever dysfunctions in your family, right? Because that's the beauty of being here now. Like, we have an opportunity to change things. How is
That's
that
true.
is that where you are?
That's true, yes, because, and I think that's one of the hardest parts, is when you may have friends who may come from dysfunctional backgrounds, but it's a totally different animal when it's your own, someone in your family, you know, um, and it's hurtful. But you have to keep pushing forward, knowing, okay, I know this is the correct way, this is the best route for me to go, because sometimes you could be stuck in that rut, fighting something that's, if you know it's never going to change, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? What's the
Yeah,
point? So,
yeah. I see that with my own family. I used to get so mad when people didn't see it how I see it. And
yes.
if I'm being a billion% honest with you and y'all, I still get very angry. Like, why don't you see it how I see it?
Yeah.
However, I'm not pushing it as much as I can't not speak up. And if y'all don't hear it, I I don't know what's being expected of me other than to speak up. So,
Right.
like, in real time, like, I got women like Taisha. That's my sister. Like, we don't
Yes.
come from the same mom or the same
Hmm.
family, but we do share a lineage, and
Hmm.
we share an experience of being Black women here, dealing with what y'all are, not y'all, you, but with what the men who speak up say that they're dealing with. You being a Black woman who speaks up, that's not a backseat role. That's very much front of the line
Absolutely.
situation. And I know that you've been, targeted for having such views. So I think that it's pretty
Yes.
strong to have you as an example. Thank you for being here today.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited. This month has always been, I know, important to highlight, those of us out here trying to get the word out. And although I have not been as active, I'm trying to get back into it. It's been interesting, because for some of you who may or may not know, we were going through some legal issues with YouTube. So that took a lot out of me. It took the fun out of it. It took the, wanting to, go hard in the paint like I used to, but I am slowly getting back out there, and because there's so much more bigger issues, to tackle, and I can't let that stop me. Although it's been very, frustrating, and you just want to say F it, but yeah, I'm like, you know what? I know there are people who want to hear my voice, who want to know, what are you thinking? Because I get that all the time. When are you coming back? And I'm like, that actually makes me feel good that there are people out there that really value what I have to say in regards to whatever's going on in the world, And for me, I like to talk about a lot of things, although, my most well-known material has been about, cases and celebrities, but I do like to talk about the serious stuff too. And I want to get back to that too. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
excited.
no, for sure. I look, you taking a break and recalibrating, I think that that's necessary. I've had to experience my own pause, and for what it's worth, some people think that I've paused too hard. Some people think that I need to pause, and I think that it's wonderful that people have so many thoughts about what I should do, But in real time, I'm gonna do, at least what my man thinks that we should do. We do what our family, what our spiritual guides, our ancestors, all that stuff. It's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. However, the meals
Right.
that have been coming out of that kitchen, I'm humbled. For at least for what I've been experiencing, it could have been so much worse.
It's true.
So,
It's true.
I'm happy you're here. I'm happy to know that you have other thoughts because, yeah, people like to railroad us into one thing. So,
Mhm.
like you, people say, "Oh no, you were doing this for this, so you can only do this for this." And it's like, no, look, I'm just Eve, but I do have
Right.
thoughts, and if y'all like those thoughts, I'm gonna speak them. And you've got thoughts, and in real time, we had a conversation before we went live, and I want y'all in the audience to know that stuff like this is what the sisterhood should be talking about. Maybe you guys agree, or maybe you disagree, but do you see it in the did it change? There it is. You see it, Nicole?
Yes, yes, yes.
Happy anniversary to Simone and Jonathan
Yes.
Owens, right? That's
Yes.
them on the
Absolutely.
screen.
Absolutely.
Beautiful melanated couple, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. They are everything that we have always said we should be gearing our kids to be great people, loving each other, young, beautiful, in love, doing it the right way, so to speak. And I'm sure most of you remember when Simone and her husband was on that podcast. I can't remember the name of the podcast from last year. And, the guest, he was a guest, Jonathan, and the host, they're kind of asking about how he and Simone met. And, it looks like a laid back atmosphere, like they're kind of joking and being serious at the same time. And, Jonathan, Simone's husband, basically said, I guess the host asked, how did you guys meet? What was it? Did you reach out to her? And he was like, basically saying, I'm paraphrasing here, I think I was the catch.
Yeah.
And from him simply saying that, and that just like that, he didn't say Simone wasn't a catch. He didn't say, he just basically said, I think I was a catch. You know, um, I didn't really know her, and I think that's another reason why you had some of these women just go crazy on social media, on Twitter. And I just sat back and I thought, and it went on for a few days. It was, at first you're like, okay, maybe it'll be some brouhaha, but it got really ugly. And
Yeah.
I'm saying to myself, what is this really? What is this really? It wasn't like he was disrespecting her. And recently, I know Simone came out and did an interview with another woman on a podcast, and she's just like, she was so hurt by the reaction and people telling her to divorce him. Where is this coming from,
Divorce
really?
him.
Oh, yes, there were all sorts of things. They were, attacking him, saying, you're Simone Biles' husband, you're a nobody, basically. And I say to this is where you have this certain segment of black, I don't want to say, because there was all types of women saying this, not just black women. You have white women chiming in of all different backgrounds. But I want to focus on our women because I want to hold us to task about this because I thought it was very disturbing. What are we teaching our young boys the way we attack Jonathan Owen? What are we really saying? Are we saying that our boys should not have any self-worth? What are you projecting to the world? Because what they did in that moment was very, it frustrated me. It made me angry because they took a clip and just ran with it. Didn't even, some of them, I can guarantee you, didn't watch the whole thing. It got so bad that the hosts, and I kind of blame them too. I blame that podcast too because they were kind of egging it on, instigating it. And that didn't help. He had to come out and say, it was not like that. He loved her. He had to come out and do cleanup, but it was too late. You egg this on, and now here we are. Instead of just saying, okay, just go on, and Simone said, I just wanted him to have his moments. That's okay. But see, this is where it goes to not seeing a healthy representation of Black couples. That's a problem.
Yeah, let's get this out the way. Doing it the right way to be young and in love. Look, y'all, in real time, I have a live on Wednesdays with Dr. Winters. And if y'all have tuned in, you know that man loves his wife and he loves his baby doll. And she's deceased. She's not even here no more. But this man fell in love with her when they was kids and they got married. And it's not like it's all bliss, but doing it the right way. Why not? Why? Unless maybe you just didn't find it then. And there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, like, I think that's great to be young and say that you want to do something with this person for a very long time, because who knows how long forever is. People die every day, right? Like, so forever could have been 2 months, or it could be 20 years, or it could be 50 years, or like he talks about, she was the healthy one and he's not the healthy one, but she's the one who's gone. So forever is flip-flopped, I think that, I think there's something should be said about doing it the right way. But is there a wrong way? People find love when they find love. I'm happy they found somebody who looks like them, because in real time, people are finding all sorts of matches, and y'all are saying that love is love. So if love is love, like, why can't their love be love, right? Like,
if that is their story, who are you to judge them? Especially if Simone is saying, no, I know this man, I'm married to this man now, this young man, because they're young, they're successful in their careers. And I'm sitting up here saying, you can't get any more perfect than those two, and it just baffled me. I'm like, I cannot believe you have a certain segment, I won't say all, but you have a certain segment out here that are so backwards, so under this delusion of, no, it can't be this way. It can't be this
they're
way.
Dysfunctional, Nicole. Yes. And I think that when people thought what I was going to talk about, they want me to say that the sisterhood's not dysfunctional or that it is dysfunctional. No, there are some dysfunctional bitches out here, but you can't blanket statement all of us like that.
Right.
You can't do that. That's wrong.
Right. 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 And that's why I preference a certain segment, because there is
Yeah,
a certain
exactly.
segment and they're the
And
loudest.
they
They're the
have.
loudest and they get the most attention. Sensible women like us, we kind of get overlooked. But for
We
those who don't
do.
overlook us, we appreciate it.
Look, in
But
the
if
chat, somebody said it. Somebody in the chat said it. YouTube
Mhm.
likes to, here we go. Shout out to Val. YouTube likes to silence people who are speaking up for our community. And shout
Yes,
out to you, Val, because real time, we could be talking about some dumb shit right now and the numbers would blow up.
of
Like,
course. Yeah.
uh, did he do it? Like if we were talking about that, it's shit. Like no, we
Yeah.
think about, I'd like to
Yes.
have constructive conversations. I think that
Absolutely.
sisterhood keeps getting shit on because there is a very loud segment of dysfunctional women out here, and their trauma will make you think that there's something wrong with you for either not having experienced something like that or not accepting it. But
Mhm.
I don't want our boys to feel like they're not a prize as much as I don't want our girls to not feel like they are a prize. But why are people prizes? Like where did that come from? Maybe that's the conversation.
True. That's true. That's true. It's interesting. It's interesting. But in all honesty, yes, the labels can get a little weird and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it was just the commentaries I saw. Like, people were literally taking this and making it into something that it was totally not. And I'm sitting up here saying to myself, are y'all for real? Like, out here attacking this man, Jonathan Owens. Like he was just a
So what do they want
monster.
him to do? Like what was the solution? So they're attacking him and they want him to, what do they
Yeah,
want? Like
yeah.
what is
They're
it?
just like, know your place. You be quiet.
Oh
She is
no.
Miss Simone Biles. This is the attitude that I saw with a lot of folks in their commentaries or comments
Yeah.
online. You are nobody. We didn't know who you were. We knew Simone Biles before we knew who you were. No, you sit down. You're nothing, basically. That's what a lot of people were saying, just because he made the comment that he thought he was a prize. And that's okay for him to think that. We're supposed to think highly of ourselves. We don't have to be on any ego trip. But what's
Yes.
wrong with having a healthy sense of self, a healthy sense of, you know, what's the word?
Confidence?
Confidence. It was another word I was thinking of, but
Was it ego?
no, not ego. Well, I guess you could say confidence, and self-esteem. I think that's what I meant to say.
Self-esteem. Yes.
Self-esteem.
That's a
You
good word.
know,
2 words. Yes. Um,
we
people I personally believe that it's the participation trophy thing. Like people don't like when I talk about this because they want everybody to feel like they have worth, because I'm not saying that everybody doesn't have worth. I'm
right,
saying that if you've done some really cool shit, people should be able to say, yeah, you did some really cool shit. And then you shouldn't be like, oh, I didn't, oh, really? Like, are you serious? Like, how many hours did it take you to do that? Like, or how long? Or look, what if it didn't take you any hours and you just woke up one day and was able to, that's even cooler. Like, why?
right.
Jealousy and ego
Uh,
are gonna kill people. I think maybe I don't.
yeah, it's a lot of this is deep-rooted jealousy. I think some of it's self-hatred. It's a mix of a lot of things. Envy for and I sit back and I think about Simone Biles. This young woman has went through a lot in her life. Worked her way to the top in gymnastics, the top in her field. From being assaulted, essayed, I'll say, um,
By her coach, right?
by her coach, the
Mm-hmm.
things she went through. And she even explained this, how he was by her side. Jonathan was by her side every step of the way. And you would have people out here trolling. A lot of it is trolling, but
Right.
you also
Right.
have some folks out here who are really serious, like just demeaning and being so ugly towards them.
To
It's pretty
this
sad.
black woman and black man.
Who've done nothing. They're just having a
Done
conversation
nothing.
about how they met. And
They
this is what it
babies.
turned into. Dysfunctional.
It's, I'm laughing, y'all, but really it's not funny. It's just
Yeah.
more like I'm uncomfortable. This is an uncomfortable laugh. Like
Yeah.
they're black people, we do it to ourselves. This if we want to talk to me, if we're talking about black on black crime, it's shit like this. It's not us shooting each other up in the streets. No. I mean, because that happens across the board. You harm the people you're around, but really y'all, you harm the people you're around, and
Yeah.
then you say you want love, but then you shit on this young couple in love. Do you
Right.
not want love? Or are you mad that you haven't found love? Or are you mad that they found it first? Or what are we doing? Because to me it turns into a work conversation. They don't want to do the work to get what they want, so now I get to just be mad and angry. And then between the
Hmm.
trolls, the bots, and the actual people who are really angry out here, that's a lot of people to have to listen to or ignore because
Right.
they were loud, right? That's
Yeah. I mean, she even mentioned it in her latest interview. I keep saying podcasts, but I can't. There's so many of these podcasts out here. But she said she literally almost had a breakdown over it, and I'm like, that this is really sad that this woman, in the prime of her life, and she's sharing, her and her husband are sharing how they met, and it can get turned into something like this. It just goes to show you there's a lot of dysfunctional folks walking around here, believing what they want to believe, no matter how insane, just ridiculous it may sound, but they think it sounds logical. No one wants to think anymore. No one wants to look at something with a deeper meaning. We just surface value, surface level folks, and it's not right. And that's the thing that really hit me, is like, what are we really saying here? What are we really saying here? That black men are already looked upon as the lowest of the low of society. So what are
yeah.
we saying here?
That's
What are we really
you
saying here?
you have one son, you have sons.
I have one son, and that's another thing. I look at that. I'm like, so am I not supposed to instill, uh, confidence and self awareness into my son? I mean, am I supposed to just raise him to be some, guy that think he can just get ran over? And I'm not saying, to be disrespectful of women or anything like that. Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
right.
But we're supposed to guide our kids and instill great values and things, great things into our kids, no matter the gender. We do that with girls naturally. That's almost a natural thing to do. But with boys, they're just expected to take anything.
Like,
If we're being honest.
in real time, I think I see it both ways. I see
Hmm.
parents who coddle sons. I see
Hmm.
parents who don't. And then I
Yeah.
see moms who have this envy thing towards their daughters. And then I see
Mm.
moms who don't. And then it goes back to, when we blanket statement anything, it really shits on the people who are doing the work. Um, Shout out to Taisha, because we blanket statement fuck Mother's Day type shit. But then in real time, she's a mom, I'm a mom, and we're not saying fuck us as much as, like, are y'all doing the work? Like,
Mhm.
when you blanket statement celebrate things, some people are undeserving as
Yeah.
I've been fussing a lot, and she's been doing so good. Let me do better. In real time, we don't have to accept the lowest of the low. And I think that Black mothers get this stigma associated with us because we're maybe louder than our counterparts, but it doesn't mean that he's not there. Like, you're
Yes.
married, right? Your son's father is right there, right?
He is. He is. And it's that balance, he
Exactly.
gets me and then he gets my husband. And, my husband is definitely more, no, you're gonna do this, we're gonna go outside, I'm gonna show you how to do this, the masculine, manly things. And then with me, he gets the attention, the love, you know, um, the support, just to talk to him, to listen to him, and to validate his feelings. I do
Absolutely.
listen to him, and I want him to tell me, what do you think and what do you feel? And then I explain to him, well, this is how it is, and my husband is showing him the way. I'm raising a young man. This is what it's going to be like. The world's not going to be easy on you. That's what he gets. So it's great to see both, when you have both of those, together and they intertwine, and you hopefully hope that your son or daughter grows up to be decent human beings and do the right thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, shout out to Jonathan and Simone, because in real time, people got a lot of controlled things going on. And to
Hmm.
me, as a parent, I would really love for my children, our minis, to use us as an example of, you know, things.
Right. Right.
Whatever, but things that at least
Right.
seeing balance, and even inside of the imbalance, because things aren't perfect, but
No.
we work through things, we talk, we do things, and to me that matters. Some of y'all ain't seen nothing, so then
Hmm.
you see people who have something, and then you be like, oh, well, like, you didn't get that growing up, so you feel a type of way later in life, and that's control. Like, I think that if we release the control over society, like they want us to have, like, Black women are supposed to be angry, we're supposed to have something to say about everything, and then our men are supposed to just let us just be destructive and dysfunctional. Like, what? How does that equal more Black people?
It's This has been a long road that to where we are now. I mean, I can even think back to the early 90s, or late 80s. It didn't used to be this way. I know times change and ideologies may change and whatnot, but some things are supposed to just stay core. The core values, traditional, you know, values. And I hate to say traditional, because when people hear traditional and values, they think Republican. No, it doesn't just apply to a political group, but it's just those core natural traditional values that we grew up with. It's like it's gone. It's gone, but not in our household. We still believe in order. And is it perfect, like you said? Absolutely not. Do my husband and I have our issues at times? Yes, but that's with any couple, married or not married. You're gonna have issues you may not agree with, but you just learn how to deal with it and hear both sides of each other's perspectives.
Hmm.
So it happens.
I I 1 billion% love that,
Hmm.
he showing him the masculine side of things, or what society wants us to think is toxic, men outside getting dirty and, doing things, they want us to
Hmm.
be doing things. I don't think there's a problem with anybody doing anything, as much as,
Right.
I want to take the trash out, or do I want to be the one to have to go check out what went bump in the night? I mean, I
Uh-huh.
should know
Uh-huh.
how to, right? Because, like, what if he's
Right.
here? But if he's here, why do I got to go check?
Yes, absolutely. I'm like, no, you go take care of that. Like, exactly. I am still up for those traditional, core,
Mhm.
chores and core values. Like you said, with the trash. He loves working on cars. I mean, he's a very, meticulous, Like he's the type that can literally rip the motherboard of a computer, like take a computer apart, literally. Very brainiac in that way, and put a computer back together. I mean, just very great with his hands. And that's one thing I've always loved about him. If he doesn't want to have to pay for something, he's like, I'll go on Google or YouTube it and learn it. I mean, very take charge, type of man. And that's one thing I've always loved about him. And I love that he's trying to instill that in our son now. For our son, it's up to him if he wants to take that on and instill that in himself. I hope he does. But that's one thing I've always loved about my husband. He's very hands-on, he tries to figure out how to fix it himself, especially if it costs too much. He's like, why would I pay you? That's his mindset. Why would I pay you when I can just go buy the parts and do it myself? So I think that's
Definitely.
always awesome.
Industrious. I like that. I
Mhm,
think that
mhm.
I think our men are like that when they have the time and they have the resources. Why wouldn't they? But
Right.
if they've been coddled, then maybe they don't have the confidence that they can.
Mm.
Um, I want to say I saw a post a little while ago, um, and I want to say it was around our birthday. So I know that me and your son share, we're twinsies. But I think it was
Yes.
like a computer. He wanted a computer or some like gaming system, or it was something like
Yes.
tech related. Like he's
Yes.
real interested in that. And if that's a familial, passed down thing, man, y'all
Yes.
about to be living real nice because he's gonna code
Yes.
something super cool.
Yes, my son talks about that they do like coding and stuff. And I'm like, this is great at school. So I'm like, this is something you can implement. And, if he continues on in it and really, because he's really liking it, if this continues on, you can make a career out of this. I told him, and maybe you can teach your dad things that, he may not know. Because, by the time you're 18, 19, 20, things are going to be even more different, especially in the technology world. And who knows if my husband will even be interested like that. So it's a cool dynamic to see, It's very, very cool.
I like that. They say that we're supposed to be dysfunctional, but in real time, the women that at least have enough stomach to take me, right? Because I'm
Mhm.
not everybody's cup of tea, but I find that you guys you inspire me. I want to learn more about the things that you're doing. What makes sense, what's working. Especially when we have children, because damn
Yes.
it, like not one way fits, and because
No.
there's not one way, man, it's lots of options now for how to get from point A to point B. And again, technology puts us so close that we can have conversations that make sense to me. Maybe they don't make sense to y'all, and y'all want to go beef on Twitter and have debates and talk shit about people getting married. And look, I don't understand that talking shit about other people's shit unless it's for a reason. Like, is it to get us to move in a direction that makes sense? Like, you want to scarlet letter people because you want everybody to be married. Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. So let's put some things in place to make sure that people get married. But what really happens is we get like a Me Too movement, and then we're supposed to champion some shit that doesn't make sense, or abortion. People who aren't even having babies want the right to say something about people who have babies, and it's like y'all aren't even in the conversation because
Mhm.
you're not having babies. You don't even want to have babies. The women with baby abilities don't. You're laughing. I've seen those conversations on Twitter, Nicole. Like,
I know
dysfunction.
you have. You will see a little bit of everything. I mean, social media, period, but in particular that app, you will see a little bit of everything. And some things you see and the number of likes, you're like, oh my God, are there really people who think like this? When you see some of those posts, and it's alarming. It's alarming. But I'm like, are these people real? Please tell me this is fake. There cannot be a person who believes, that just something insane. It'll have like 10, 20,000 loves. or likes, and you're just
Mhm.
like, oh my God, this is disturbing. It's
Yeah,
just the thing from going back to the health thing, when you see like self-love, and no one's saying you should not love yourself. That's literally not what I'm saying. But I think the biggest way to love yourself is to take care of yourself, and not just physically. We're talking mentally here, because we have a lot of, and that plays into it too. That's dismissed as the mental health factor of a lot of people, especially a lot of women.
that's that's a good point because yes, in
Mhm,
the health side of things, Black women are supposed to be unhealthy, and then we're supposed to just deal with it. So
mhm,
it's a nasty slope because in real time, I don't know a lot of people who still cook. They like the convenience of an Uber Eats or just fast food. So
mhm.
whether it's a restaurant fast food or fast food, neither one of those things are where you want to be. But if you're
Right.
not exercising or detoxing or doing something else, then slippery slope. Now you put on 50 pounds just because we're not cooking. And then what are we cooking? I see channels that it's like old school soul food, and it's like, fat back elbow types, and it's like, yeah, that food was good, right? But the fat back elbow, like
Mhm, mhm,
that's not who we
mhm.
want to be either. You said your friend was 37,
30,
diabetes, like
she was
I can't.
30, she was 37. But to be totally upfront and transparent with her, she was born with like a bad heart. I think she was born with a hole in her heart. Rest
Oh
in peace,
man.
Mandy. So, but she was able to, when she was like one, they had open heart surgery. They were able to fix it. But over time, as she got older, she was always a hefty big girl. But I never, I never judged her for it. She was just a great friend, and we always, looked out for each other and whatnot. And I would mention it to her, have you thought about maybe doing this, doing that? And when she lost her parents at a young age, I think that was when, and she was an only child as well. And
Oh man.
I think that's what basically did it for her, as far as just not caring, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she did have her two kids, a daughter and a son, and it's just heartbreaking knowing that. I wish she would have, even if you're not going to be per se healthy, be on a great diet. She even stopped taking the medications she was supposed to take.
Oh man.
So that lets me know that she really gave up. And then we had COVID. That brought a whole nother dynamic to folks' health. And that was a test to see. Let's see how some of y'all are actually living out here, because that was a beast. That pandemic showed a lot. Okay. I won't get into the other parts of it, but just you know, but just that alone, it was a test to see. Let's see how healthy some of y'all really are out here.
That's
And
that's
yeah.
real. I don't feel bad though. Look,
Mhm,
I'm a play devil's advocate for you real quick so you don't feel bad. In a alternate universe, she did get healthy, but then she dies from a heart attack because like shit's got to balance out, right? So she's eating the right stuff, but because her heart was already messed up, people we we like to own bad stuff. I'd like us to stop owning bad stuff. I want us to more own the really good stuff that we're doing. And if you did some bad stuff, then yeah, okay, own that, but do better if you can.
right.
If you don't know how, find somebody who does, and then do better. So I like that. At least inside of what you've been telling me about your friend, you said that your own health is important. So let
Absolutely.
me do what I can do about me. And that's
And
the
that's
control
uh,
we need to have. Go ahead.
no, no, no. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that was when she passed. That was even more, a battery in my pack, like a battery in my back. I have to now stay on this. And I work out not just for me, but for her, because I wish she had that, that need, that want to live and be here, but it wasn't meant to be. And I think she was she missed her parents, I think, and I just hope she's with her parents, right now, because
Let's just say she is, because who knows? Like that's another
right,
control thing. I want people to get off. Like wherever you want them to be, that's where they are. And
that's
then let yeah, I think the sisterhood is so messed up that we allow people not to care because
right.
we don't want to do the control thing that I've been talking about. But a
Hmm.
lot of it really is what we're doing.
Right.
Sometimes the company we keep, and this is not me saying anything about you or her, just I'm just saying in general, like y'all will really not be around people who are not doing the things that you're doing. That's on the internet, that's in real life, that's in general, because their energies they're not gonna mesh. So
Hmm.
when we're doing things that make sense, and then there's people in our lives who they're having a hard time with it, pay attention to that. They're having a hard time with this, and then maybe we can do something to help them, not control
Yes.
them, but if we're paying attention, then maybe we can help. And to me,
Right.
that's the sisterhood, because my real life sisters, they be knowing some shit, and I ain't have to tell them nothing. Like
Yeah.
it's like, all right, who's
Yeah.
talking? Nobody's talking because I don't talk. So like, how? But that they're intuitive, and I think that sometimes we know stuff about our friends, about the people that we're around, and we don't know how to do anything about what they're going through. But I promise y'all, just paying attention, that's really big. That is something, because
Yes.
if you don't pay attention, you can't address it.
Right. It's so true. And that's another thing I've always felt guilt about, because for a while, I'm from Texas, and in 2011, my husband is originally from New Jersey. So he had moved back up to New Jersey around that time. And I ended up moving up there with him. So we had this, there was this gap, kind of like we kept in touch, but it wasn't the same,
Yeah.
and we did follow each other and everything. And I feel like had maybe I not moved away and there was this gap, and life goes on. It doesn't mean that you don't love your friend or care about
Mhm.
their well-being, but life happens and things happen, and we didn't speak as much as we used to, but we were always there when need be. And when I moved back to Texas, we did started to somewhat reconnect, and then kind of
Like,
disconnected, and it's just life, but we always were able to stay connected. And when the last email she sent me was just, it was very beautiful. She was just like, I know we haven't been this close lately, but never, you've always been my friend. And I said the same thing to her. And at least I know I have that,
no,
and it's just
that's kind of beautiful, because like
yeah.
people, she didn't do anything to herself. This was an untimely death. So really,
Hmm.
the timing, maybe if she had more time, things would have been different. But nobody
Right.
knows when. That's what we talked about earlier. Forever, who knows how long forever is? Like it
Right.
could be
Right.
tomorrow. You had plans, and then no more plans because they're not here anymore. Like we kind of
Right.
have to let go of some of this control thing, but I
Yeah.
don't want us to not pay attention to each other. I want us to make sure that the things that we want, that we're doing the things that we to help us get there, or at least for my sisters, because at
Yes.
least I hope that y'all want that for me too. So um,
Absolutely.
I'm just
Absolutely.
I was thrilled when you picked up my call and said that you would join me for Black Media Appreciation Month. I hope that we have thoroughly shown you some appreciation this month. And y'all check out her channel, Nicole's View. I've tagged it in the description. She's gonna be talking more. She's back. She's doing her Zumba. No, it's steps. She's doing steps. So if
Oh, I
you
do everything. I do steps, Zumba, regular working out, regular weights. I'm all over the place. But yeah, I'm just just trying to survive out here and trying to live a decent life. I'm just trying. We all are, right?
Yeah,
We're
right.
just
Look, we millennials adulting out here. I can't stress that enough. Like, we didn't get a playbook, and for what it's worth, a lot of the old people really don't know what the fuck either. So it's not like we're not trying. We're all peers, and I'm always appreciative of another of my peers who understands that we don't got it all, but we
no,
know what we know.
right. We don't have all the answers, but it's just trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
I turned 40, and you just kind of look back on things and how could I've done things differently, and what can I do? And I just, I just try my best to live a decent life. Am I perfect? No. Do I fall short at times? Absolutely. But I just, from here on out, I say I want to do what I want to do. I want to live the life I want to live, and with my son and my husband and whatnot. It's just, and for me, I've always been a rebel in that aspect. I can't help it. I'm an Aries. So when something is
Behind you.
not right, I'm going to call it out. Sometimes I try to suppress it, but I can't. Sometimes I just can't.
No, you gotta
It's
let that
just
fire out. No, it's fire. Maybe you'll come back on. Unfortunately, we couldn't get Taisha on with us today, but maybe we'll
yeah.
have another conversation. You'll join us back. We'll talk about our signs and have some girl
Yes.
talk. I don't. They don't want that
No.
conversation.
No, 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 no.
No, this has been
and
real.
I, and I and I enjoy this. I enjoy this conversation because I know we're not all out here insane and losing our minds, and how we're portrayed, whether it's on social media, mainstream media, traditional media. It's not like that. We are a diverse group, especially of women, that just want the best for our people, and with no agendas tied, unless it's an agenda of correcting a wrong,
Yeah,
like reparations, something
like
like that.
reparations,
That's the
right?
agenda,
Right.
like.
Look, you made me have another devil's advocate thought because
Yeah.
you said just women. And look, this is a this is a secret, you guys. So I'm gonna tell y'all a secret. Um, Black women move the needle. So the other
Yes.
women, they're watching us, and shout out to the other women in my chat right now. I like that y'all pay attention to the things that I say, because when the maths for us, it will math for you. And I'm not just saying that like how the Democrats say a rising tide lifts all boats. No, I really do mean it. Like, the family, that makes sense. Men and women treating each other with respect and complementary goals and aspirations, and that all works for everybody. That if we get what we're supposed to get, y'all, I promise it will start to make sense in a big way for everybody else. I believe it. That's that. I'm just Eve, right? So that's just my thoughts. You might feel differently. That's okay. Nicole, one more
No,
time
no.
for the people who don't know where to find you. Can you tell them where to find you?
Yes, yes. So I am on YouTube at Nicole's View. You can look under my live section on my page, and that's like the recent, things I've done. I do plan to. I'll probably go live tomorrow, and do something. Yes, you can reach me on Nicole's View at YouTube. I'm also on Twitter X. I call it Twitter X. I hate calling it X. But yeah, it's X. I'm on X at Black, that's BLK, and then Liberation, that's all one word. BLK Liberation, Liberation 84, and that's where I'm at.
All right. Follow
Yeah.
her on YouTube and on drugs, if you will. No, on Twitter. I'm happy y'all joined us today. Join me tomorrow. I'll be live with Irvin Burton of Tiger Crane, where we're going to talk about some self-defense and just how Black women and Black people can keep themselves protected. And y'all have a good rest of your afternoon. Black first. What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB, or find me on X at Justice4Just_Us. That's JUSTICE, 4 JUST_US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description. Black first.